Hello everyone, this is the second stimulus check and second stimulus package update for today, November 4th, which is a Thursday. We are now 2 days after the election with no clear-cut winner. We could be hearing some news shortly. We've had some big news out of Mitch McConnell. He made some big statements last night that have sent stocks soaring, at least for the time being. So we're going to go over that, what that could mean for you, as well as comments that Nancy Pelosi made and what that could mean for stimulus. So let's get into it. Hey everyone, my name is Randy and welcome to the Late Night Grind. This is a brand new YouTube channel, so I would really appreciate if you would hit that subscribe button, as well as hit that thumbs up button. That really helps out with the YouTube algorithm, and it just helps out smaller channels like this one to grow. All right, so last night, Mitch McConnell basically said, after he learned that he had been reelected, or at least that's the projection, that he has won reelection in Kentucky, in interviews, he made the statement that getting a stimulus deal is job one for him when he returns to Congress. He knows that there needs to be a stimulus passed, and he's going to be working on getting that done. This is a complete about-face from what he's been talking about for the last month or two. Now, I don't know if it was election stuff going on in the background that people just didn't know about, or he just wasn't putting as much effort into the stimulus talks with Nancy Pelosi and Steve Mnuchin. We don't really know. And along with those comments, he actually made something that is probably the most shocking of all. For months, the biggest difference between Mitch McConnell, Steve Mnuchin versus Nancy Pelosi during these stimulus talks has been the money for state and local governments. The Republicans have seen it as kind of a blue state bailout for all the money that the Democratic states were losing. Nancy Pelosi continues to say, no, it's because of all the losses that have happened due to... So the shocking part was that Mitch McConnell actually said that the new bill could include state and local aid. Where did this come from? I mean, where was this a month or two ago? And I don't mean necessarily that you just agree with everything Nancy Pelosi says, but, you know, at least be willing to talk about it. So I don't know if it had anything to do with the election or his own election or what was going on there. But right now we have some news, and I think that contributes in part to why the stock market is doing so well today. As I'm making this video, it's up about 600 points on top of being up big after being down big last week pre-election. So this is big for a number of reasons. It could be because some of the economists that had really pushed for a stimulus package back in March are the same ones that in the last 2 to 3 weeks have really been putting pressure on Congress to get something done once again, because the need for that to happen is just becoming greater and greater, especially things like airlines. Once they started laying off tens of thousands of people, the pressure was just really starting to mount. On top of that, the stock market took a dive, at least for a week or so. Now it seems to be on the rebound, but just the volatility of it, it kind of speaks to something where we're sitting right now, which is we're kind of in an unknown. The election isn't necessarily known. The president isn't necessarily known. And even still, I don't think who the president is will actually have a big effect on the stimulus package in terms of a timeline. It's more so Congress getting it done. The other part of that is if Mitch McConnell is actually willing to talk about state and local aid in this package, in this relief package, it's interesting because the last iteration of the relief package the Republicans had put forth was actually had stimulus checks with bigger numbers than the first CARES Act. So it included $1,200 for adults, but here's the thing. It actually included $1,000, or at least mentioned $1,000 for children in that second iteration. So are we going to be seeing that? Could we be seeing bigger checks? Not necessarily for individuals, but for families. Families could be helped out in a dramatic way. And so that leads me to a question I wanted to ask you guys. I actually read an article that said that the last stimulus package, the $1,200 checks that went out, the $500 to dependents, most people actually used that money to pay down some debt and save. So basically, if they had any outstanding bills that they just needed to pay off or they wanted to pay off, they paid it. Anything that was left over, they just kept it in the bank. It's not like necessarily that it just went out and was spent. Now we're at the time of year that the holiday shopping season is starting. Is this stimulus package going to be done in time for the holiday shopping season? Because keep in mind, these stimulus relief bills, yes, it's to help out people who have lost their jobs or who have been forced into shutdowns, which, by the way, I think there's a group of people that are more on the hook than some others, but that's another video. But the majority of the money is, keep in mind, it's stimulus. It's economic stimulus. It's not just to keep people afloat, but it's also to stimulate the economy, go out to businesses, pay your bills, be able to spend a little bit extra at different stores here and there like we've been seeing. That is what really is going to stimulate the economy and get jobs back in order. As long as they open things back up, that's one of the biggest stimulus that we can do. So I'm just curious, what are you guys going to do with your stimulus checks? If and when we get it, is that going to be used for Christmas money, holiday shopping money, or is that just going to get put in the bank? Is it going to get put in the stock market? Ooh, that's a risky bet right now, as volatile as it is. So that's going to be it for today, guys. I appreciate you watching this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and I will see you on the next update.